Did Bang Si-hyuk really confront Taehyung over Jungkook? BTS faces internal crisis no one expected. IS the most powerful friendship in BTS now at the heart of a silent corporate war. The K-pop world has been sent into shockwaves following an insider leak that Bang Si-hyuk, chairman of HYB and the very man credited with building BTS from the ground up, allegedly issued a stern private rebuke to Kim Taehyung. After he publicly, albeit subtly, voiced support for Jungkook's shocking hesitation to renew his exclusive contract with the label. But why is the agency targeting Taehyung for expressing loyalty to a friend? And more importantly, what does this mean for the future of BTS? It started as a whisper. Rumors that Jungkook, after returning from Japan and being picked up personally by Jimin without any HYB supervision, was being shielded by a close circle of friends as he considered stepping away from the next phase of his commitment to the agency. The whispers grew louder when fans noticed an eerie silence from official channels. No celebratory posts. No welcome back statement. No HYB entourage at the airport. It was Jimin alone, who reached Jungkook first, a moment caught on fan cams and analyzed to exhaustion. The question that lingered was, where was the agency? But just when that storm hadn't yet settled, another headline hit. Taehyung had allegedly sided with Jungkook in a private meeting, voicing support for whatever decision Jungkook needed to make for his own peace. According to sources close to the company, that was the final straw for Bang Si-hyuk. Reports now suggest that the chairman, known for his calm demeanor and measured strategies, summoned Taehyung privately and confronted him with what's being described as a deeply disappointed and firm tone. This wasn't just about a contract anymore. This was about control, about family, about trust, and about betrayal. What would drive a legendary producer and industry icon to risk alienating one of his biggest stars? Why reprimand Taehyung, of all people, whose loyalty has never been questioned? Is it fear? Or does it point to something deeper, something darker, unfolding behind HYB's spotless PR curtain? Sources familiar with internal operations at HYB describe a tense atmosphere where previously unbreakable bonds now feel tested. Insiders claim Bang Si-hyuk felt blindsided by what he views as a coordinated emotional influence campaign from within BTS, led, intentionally or not, by the very members he helped nurture. That feeling, those close to the chairman allege, triggered an emotional reaction far beyond what fans or the public have seen from him before. The timing of the alleged reprimand is just as suspicious. It reportedly occurred mere days after Taehyung posted a cryptic Instagram story featuring a black screen with a caption, "Support your people, even when it's not popular." Was that aimed at HYB? At Bang PD? Or was it a subtle nod to Jungkook, who has remained conspicuously out of the public eye since returning? The fan community is divided. Some claim HYB is losing control and panicking. Others defend Bang Si-hyuk, insisting that no agency can operate when its top artists begin publicly questioning management. But amid the speculation, a chilling theory has emerged, one that's gaining traction. What if Jungkook and Taehyung are preparing for something far bigger than just a contract refusal? What if this is the start of a coordinated, quiet exit? This is no longer a story about individual choices. It's a story of fracture, of two worlds that once coexisted harmoniously, now pulling apart under the pressure of fame, fatigue, and personal awakening. Jungkook, the golden magne, appears to be reevaluating what it means to belong. Taehyung, long considered the group's emotional compass, is seemingly no longer afraid to oppose the very hands that shaped his career. Fans have begun drawing connections between recent solo interviews, social media patterns, and interactions, or the lack thereof. Why hasn't Jungkook made a single live appearance since the airport moment? Why has Taehyung been more vocal online while others remain muted? Why hasn't Bang Si-hyuk or any HYB executive issued a formal response to any of the swirling rumors? Could the agency be bracing for the biggest shift in BTS history, one not rooted in military service or hiatuses, but in ideology? We're not witnessing a simple disagreement. We're possibly standing at the edge of a cultural pivot where the idols begin shaping their legacy independently of the machinery that made them global stars. And in this volatile landscape, Every silence speaks volumes. Every subtle gesture is a statement. Every social media post is a breadcrumb leading us deeper into the unknown. If Bang Si-hyuk truly scolded Taehyung, and if that scolding was not just about control, but about fear, then it may already be too late. Because once trust begins to fracture at this level, rebuilding becomes almost impossible. But the most important question now isn't about the contract, or about HYB's next move. It's this. Has the bond between Jungkook and Taehyung become stronger than the bond between BTS and their agency? And if so, how long before we see the consequences unfold on the world stage? So, what really happened behind closed doors? Did Taehyung cross a line? Or did he simply refuse to stay silent? The alleged reprimand might have happened in private, but the ripple effects are growing louder by the day. As silence continues to dominate Jungkook's post-return period and Taehyung appears increasingly emboldened in subtle defiance, fans can't help but ask, is this the quiet beginning of a public unraveling of internal power dynamics? There's more beneath the surface, and fans know it. Taehyung has always been the kind of idol who wears his heart on his sleeve. Whether it's through his melancholic song lyrics, the way he looks at his bandmates during concerts, or the emotional rawness that defines his live streams, he has never been good at hiding his feelings. And now, that transparency may have cost him something far more complicated. Trust from the top. Rumors are swirling that Bang Si-hyuk did not merely reprimand Taehyung, but issued what one source described as a direct warning that continuing to interfere with contract matters could lead to irreparable consequences. What that means remains unknown, but those words alone suggest that this isn't just about feelings. It's about business, control, ownership, and when business and brotherhood collide, the result is never pretty. Adding fuel to the fire, one fan account that claims connections inside the label revealed that Taehyung allegedly pushed for an emergency meeting with senior HYBE managers after Jungkook was left without an official welcome upon return. The meeting reportedly turned emotional, with Taehyung questioning why the agency allowed Jimin to act alone and asking if they even cared how Jungkook felt. The source claims that Bang Si-hyuk interpreted this as an undermining of the chain of command. What's even more telling is the timing of Bang Si-hyuk's recent public appearances. Typically calm and composed, the chairman appeared visibly fatigued during a recent panel talk. Observers noticed him avoid questions about BTS's next group activities and instead focus heavily on other artists in the company's expanding roster. Was that strategic or symbolic? What is clear is that the silence is deafening. And HYB's refusal to address the elephant in the room, Jungkook's absence from public life since his return, and the visible tension brewing within BTS, is making fans more suspicious than ever. The emotional toll. Is Jungkook being protected or pressured? Where is Jungkook? That's the question that echoes louder than ever. Since being picked up at the airport in that now famous moment by Jimin, without any HYB staff present, he has gone dark. No live streams, no Weverse posts, no sightings. Fans who once expected him to immediately return to promotions or solo content are now reading deeper into the silence. Some believe that Jungkook is simply taking time for himself, possibly shaken by the agency's handling of his return. Others fear that HYB may be isolating him intentionally, keeping him away from the public eye while internal negotiations unfold. Still, the emotional weight of it all cannot be ignored. Jungkook is not just a member of BTS. He's the youngest, the golden magne, the soul of millions. And now he's silent, right when fans need to hear from him the most. Many are beginning to suspect that Taehyung's emotional outburst wasn't impulsive, but protective. A friend standing up for another at a time when everything feels uncertain. Could that friendship have become a threat in HYB's eyes? Taehyung's online clues, hidden messages, or coincidence? Since the reported confrontation with Bang Si-hyuk, Taehyung's online behavior has grown more erratic and symbolic. He recently shared a vintage photo of two young boys running freely across a bridge. No caption, no explanation. But fans didn't need one. It's him and Jungkook, one fan tweeted, the post going instantly viral. Running away from expectations, maybe even from HYB. Even more chilling was a recent song recommendation from Taehyung, a track called No More Control by James Blake. Lyrics include, "You think you own me slash, but I've always been free. Was it a coincidence? Or is Taehyung speaking the only way he can, through art, visuals, silence? HYB's control narrative, a pattern. This isn't the first time HYB has been accused of tightening its grip on BTS members when their independent thinking threatens the company narrative. Jimin's solo promotions were riddled with last-minute cancellations and visible emotional strain. Jin's letters during military service were suspiciously filtered. And RM, once the group's vocal leader, has gone unusually quiet about BTS's corporate dealings. Are these isolated incidents? Or is this the same pattern? Control through silence, disappointment through pressure, loyalty measured by obedience. And now with Jungkook's contract allegedly stalled and Taehyung's support punished, the fanbase is asking a chilling question. Is BTS still BTS? Or have they become prisoners of their own legacy? The bigger fear. What happens if Jungkook walks away? If the youngest member of BTS were to walk away, whether temporarily or permanently, it wouldn't just be the end of an era. It would be a psychological earthquake for millions. HYB knows this. And the stakes have never been higher. Speculation suggests the company is racing against time to secure Jungkook's signature on a renewed contract, possibly with looser terms, but still within their control. But what happens if Jungkook refuses to sign? What if Taehyung follows? What if the so-called golden line, Jungkook, Taehyung, Jimin, becomes a force of independence HYB can no longer contain? And if Bang Si-hyuk's reaction to Taehyung's support is any indication, then that fear may already be well underway behind HYB's polished glass walls. So what now? What happens next? Right now, the world waits. Fans analyze every photo, every lyric, every silence, every post from Taehyung, every absence from Jungkook, every shadow from HYB. Some hope that the group will come out stronger, unified. Others fear the damage is already done. And in between, the pain of not knowing gnaws at everyone who's ever loved this group. But the story isn't over yet. In fact, it's just beginning. Because if Bang Si-hyuk really scolded Taehyung, then what happens the next time one of them speaks their truth?